ladies and gentlemen, to my Impact review. Now, I'm going to say this really honestly before I get into this review. I honestly didn't want to do this review. I honestly didn't want to do this Impact at all. I've heard the rumors, and I believe it was on the Slag Daddy's podcast when he was talking to Full Killer 99. And I hadn't had a chance to see all of it, but I got a chance to see at least most of it because I had stuff I had to do. But it's very insightful. If you go to them, you'll hear some good wrestling ideas and their perceptions of what's going on in the business. I always like Full Killer, and I still respect the Slag Daddy. He's a great guy that works hard. At least he wants to understand what's going on. But when I heard there's a possibility that Vince Russo could be in some type of consultant capacity helping creative, that made me very concerned. And when you look at this Impact, it has Russo kind of written on it. Opening up the show with, when you look at Eric Young and you look at The Abyss, you look at two guys who over almost about a year's period, almost a year they've been together, they have been trying to build and build The Abyss up to come back. And TNA took too long to bring him back and didn't do anything suspenseful to bring him back. It really was half-assed when they brought him back. I said myself that The Abyss would be brought back by Eric Young because it would be a lot like how RVD was there and he was present when the great and mighty Kane at that time had to take his mask off because he lost a match. And Eric Bischoff told him simply, you better take that fucking mask off or you're fired. This in a sense is a rehashing of it. But they did it way better than this. I mean, look, I don't feel right what's going on with Abyss. Abyss was not brought back properly. He doesn't have no storyline. He has no manager. The problem here is this. The Abyss character being brought back with the Joseph Park persona. This is what it comes down to. We're not dealing with the original Abyss. We're dealing with Joseph Park acting like the Abyss. And honestly, it's not working. It would have worked if the Abyss, Joseph Park as they bring it, had a manager that was credible enough to guide him, to control him and mold him. And then eventually the Joseph Park persona goes away and the true Abyss persona comes back. But we don't got that. We got him working with Magnus. And Magnus is only getting Magnus over like he's supposed to. But the Abyss is useless in this capacity. He just doesn't feel right. Hell, you see him getting his ass beat by Eli and he's screaming like Joseph Park. Oh my God! Abyss doesn't do that. I'm sorry. The Abyss doesn't scream like a little girl and scream, oh my God. He doesn't. I know that I'm not a big fan of The Abyss and I didn't see all of his work before 2009. So I could be 100% wrong. But for what I have seen from The Abyss, he doesn't act like that. They're letting the Joseph Park character act like Abyss. Not just letting the original guy who's done Abyss be the way he originally was. He's tweaked it and combined the two. Now originally I think I said this, that it wouldn't be that half bad, but it had to be a transition. You had to see Jekyll turn into Hyde. Or Hyde turn into Jekyll. We're not getting that. So when we see the end of the night, the Abyss chained to MVP because Eli has been incapacitated, I didn't really feel the Abyss character. I felt Joseph Park with a mask on trying to act dangerous and tough. And I really believe that if Russo is involved in this, he's really in some way has skewed the storyline so badly I don't like it. Now the next thing, Bobby Lashley versus EC3. Now you guys know how I felt about EC3 at Lockdown. I felt that he was sacrificed for Bobby Lashley. And in a sense he was. So when you come into this match, and Bobby Lashley is no better than Batista right now. He gets tanked badly. The first match he comes back, and you can see him going, he is totally fucking tanked. I'm sorry, he is tanked to fuck. And I like Bobby Lashley, but he's totally out of shape. And Mike Tenay and Taz could not save his ass. But the thing about this was, I said in my review that the WWE guys were put over more than the TNA guys. And when you look at this, when Bobby Lashley was winning and EC3 had to retreat to go in the back, who attacks him? Willow, an old WWE guy who they're trying to get this new persona to get over with. It just felt like they sacrificed their own talent for the older talent. And that's really bad. EC3 had a good character. Yes, he was acting like a bitch. But you know what? That bitch won over Sting. That bitch could have had a signature win at Lockdown against Kurt Angle. Unfortunately, he had to have a knee surgery. So why couldn't you get him to work with someone else? Someone who was senior. It would have been better. But in this case, it didn't work. And it's terrible. EC3 was 100% sacrificed to Willow. And I'm going to say this about Willow. I said earlier in my previous videos that it's good to see that they're trying to change the Jeff Hardy character. And I'm not 100% against it. When you see Jeff Hardy working with MVP in the back, and he sounds... Jeff Hardy is trying to do a little taste of the Phantom of the Opera mixed with Shakespeare. Thou art who is my enemy, my foe, my evil. Dude, he sounds like the Phantom of the Opera trying to do Shakespeare. That's what it sounds like. A bad actor who's dressed in a mask trying to do the Phantom of the Opera, but then switches from doing that scene in the Phantom of the Opera and doing a scene of Hamlet badly. I'm at least going to say that at least he's attempting, he's trying. You can see that he's honestly trying to do something entirely different. Is it good? Hell no. But it is something I can commend a Jeff Hardy to attempt. Trying to change your character is very hard when you're stuck in the same mold for a long time, ladies and gentlemen. It is hard to get out of it. And I am I'm going to commend him even though he is burying other talent. I'm sorry, he is. Now, the match that we had that was totally stupid. Gail Kim versus Lady Tappa. Lady Tappa should have won that match. Lady Tappa should have been dominant. You know why? Because there's nothing for them to do. Why allow Gail Kim to get the match? So they would continue having a feud? I could say if Gail Kim had DQ'd the match, it would have made better sense because Lady Tappa was too powerful and too strong. But she won against her clean. One, that makes Tappa look bad. Two, why would we care about a feud now because Tappa got her ass handed to her clean, eating the feet? My guess is the reason they did that is because of what happened with Angelina Love dealing with Madison Rayne later. But then that doesn't make any sense either. And since I'm talking about it, I'm leading straight into it. I love Angelina Love. She's a beautiful Canadian woman. Very beautiful face. I would love to see her just in her original black hair because she's not a platinum blonde. Of course she's not. But she is very beautiful. Great set of boobs. Very thin body. She's just a thin framed woman with some big fake tits. But it doesn't mean she isn't pretty. She gets back with Velvet Sky as I can say with Taz when he said let the pigeons loose. I wouldn't mind seeing her shake her ass. But when it comes to Madison Rayne, I said 100% in my last review that I wouldn't want to see Madison Rayne in The Beautiful People. But I wouldn't mind Madison Rayne having a feud with Angelina Love. And what do we get? Angelina Love put on this persona for a Velvet Sky, goes to a Madison Rayne, acts really friendly and nice, and then beats her ass up and says, don't you disrespect me ever. I have no problem with it. If it was the roles were reversed and Madison Rayne was a heel and it would be a face of an Angelina Love, I still wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter to me at all. I'm sorry. It wouldn't matter to me at all. You know why? One reason. Madison Rayne is not good in either face or heel. She's very generic. And no matter which way you put her, and I do have to say this about Madison Rayne. I'm not a Madison Rayne fan. I'm just not. I would show her respect. If I actually met Madison Rayne in real life, I would still show her respect. I would. because it takes a certain type of person to be a wrestler. I may not think she's a great wrestler at all, but she's still a wrestler and I would respect her. And I can say when the in-ring segment between Madison Rayne and Angelina Love happened, I at least felt that Madison Rayne showed a much more mature persona. She did. When it came to the back, it wasn't that strong at all. It just wasn't. I felt that Angelina Love completely dominated that. But it cannot take away from Madison Rayne at least showing some signs of a level of maturity in that in-ring segment. She's trying to say, I'm a grown-up, that I can do whatever the fuck I want. So I can commend her on that. But that's pretty much it. And I don't have much of a problem with having a feud with them. It'll give Angelina Love a chance to put her teeth into something. Which, I wouldn't mind putting my teeth in either one of the women. I've already said it. Okay. The next match that made no sense. The triple threat. Sonata and Tigre Uno versus the Wolves versus Bromance. I'm not saying the segment between Sonata and Tigre Uno with the Bromance was funny. It wasn't. It's just stupid. But I thought that it would actually be very good for Wrestle 1 to have one of their own being promoted as a tag champion and an X Division champ. I actually believe it would have been better to let Tigre Uno and Sonata get those tag champs. To become tag champs, I'm sorry. The Wolves I would have liked as well, but having Bromance keep it, I think that was an unwise idea, and I think someone lubed the hen in the back to allow Jesse and Robbie E to maintain their position. I do not believe they should have those tag champs. I mean belts, I'm saying tag champ. You see I'm botching because I do not like the outcome. It was dumb. It really was. I just don't get it. Now, the Bully Ray segment at the office of TNA. Was it good? He spoke alright. But am I interested? No. Bully Ray should have been allowed to go away for 3 months and come back and then attempt this. We have had him in our face for almost 2 years now. I've said this already. I'm saying it again. We had him in our face for too long. If he had gone away for 3 months, 2 at the most, I'm saying 3 is a max, 2 is minimum, he would have had a better impact than he is now. Even though he had a very good turn as a face, does not mean I'm interested. And I don't believe it makes sense. He's in that office, and I said earlier, he spoke well. Yes, he did. But it makes no fucking sense that he said he hated Dixie Carter, and he did not mention Aces and Eights. As much as you don't want to hear it, it goes along with storyline. The reason he did Aces and Eights was because of Dixie Carter not liking him. And that is the reason why, even though he spoke well, the entire segment came down for me. Because if he had said, I started Aces and Eights because I knew I would never get anywhere with you, because I know you're nothing but a bitch and you don't know how to treat good talent. If he had done that, I at least would have said that he went along with storyline, even though I don't want to hear it, and it made more sense. This way, it's like they completely obliterated Aces and Eights, and the last 2 years meant nothing. Now, I know people will be happy about that, but the problem is it doesn't make any sense going forward. Getting his ass beaten up by Robert Roode made sense, but I'm not interested in the feud at all. No matter how intense Robert Roode is, I don't give a fuck. Now, 2 things left to talk about. 1, Mike Knox. It looked like Mike Knox talking about something in a show called Ducks. I haven't seen it yet. But I can say this. It was well done. But the question is, where does this lead? If it's a show for TNA, like kind of a reality show like Total Divas, then they need to tell people where to see it. So you can do something with Ducks. Because it's not Duck Dynasty. And I tried to see if I can find anything. I didn't see anything with Ducks. So if this is a new show that they're trying to develop, okay. But if it isn't, then it really made no sense. Even though it was pretty well done with Mike. I have to admit, Mike Knox did well. Finally, the last thing I want to talk about. No, what was it? You can see my mind is kind of scatterbrained with this show. I'll give it to you like this. Seeing how the show has been, am I interested in this? Oh, now I remember. I'm sorry. The reason I kind of blanked was I really didn't like this show. And the one thing that had a shining moment in it was Storm and Gunner. It was well done. The reason I feel that this was the best well done thing is because I believe it's the best well written and the best well promoted. Storm spoke very well against Gunner's dad. Then hitting him on the head with a beer bottle made me think of, well, to be honest, Robert Roode screwing over Storm himself. And actually was ironic. I actually enjoyed it. But to be honest, even though this was a very good segment between Storm and Gunner, and seeing Gunner chained up and his dad on the floor going, ah! was good, it couldn't save the show for me. This was not a good show. I didn't like the storylines done at all. They weren't done properly. I didn't like the fact that Bully Ray is turned heel, and the problem of trying to explain himself, he didn't add aces and eights in. I just don't feel like they're in the right direction right now. I am very scared for TNA. If Vince Russo or Eric Bischoff has come back as a consultant for the writers, TNA is about to go back under again. As much as we got new people in there, does not mean it's good. So I hope you enjoyed the Zane View. Please tell me below what you believe, what you think. Did I miss anything? And I will get back to you as soon as I can with my Raw review and anything else I have. See ya!